Hello everyone and welcome to another build video. For today's video I want to show you my Mantis build. This build I made it specifically for PVE. They are still working on the PvP version, but I don't think that there will be too much difference between this one. But I made this build specifically for PvE, and it took me a lot of time to put this build together in order to showcase a build that is not actually focused around the Mantis. I mean, it's focused around the Mantis, but the other weapon is actually reliable as well. Because we all know the Mantis is more of a headshot kind of build, but I made it somehow in order to actually make reliable the secondary weapon that you're going to use. So let's get over into the build. I have the sharpshooter, as you can see right here, with Mantis. So going over the Mantis talent, your scope view displays additional information about the enemies not targeting you. Headshots on weak points and weak point damage against enemies not targeting you amplified by 50%. Headshot kills reset the cooldown of the decoy skill. This bonus will wait until the decoy goes on cooldown if currently active. So basically this talent is not for this build alone because I'm not using it. So if you're going to use the decoy, I suggest switching, because I have the revive hive and the fixer drone and I'm not using the decoy. But if you want to use the decoy, you can swap with I probably say more the fixer drone instead of the revive hive. But I'm going to show my point of interest on this weapon. It's actually the first two. So your scope view displays additional information about enemies not targeting you. Headshots and weak point damage against enemies not targeting you amplified by 50%. So that will give you a huge increase of damage. Also, this one comes with headshot damage and damage to target out of cover, so it's very impressive. And yeah, I'll show you the build to see how you can make this weapon reliable. And my secondary weapon, it's actually the Sokomemone. And this one, I choose this one because of how fast you can shoot with it. Some of the players will probably like to use the the classic M1A. It's totally up to you. I choose the Sokomemone because of the fire rate. It's higher than the classic M1A, and also, as you can see right here, I have the godlike rolls with headshot damage, which again it's important for this build. And I also have the talent Optimist. The talent is totally up to you which one you want to choose. I choose the Optimist for this one because I'm firing very fast with it. So I'm the Optimist talent, when weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine, and I'm firing quite fast with this one, so I'll be reaching a lot of damage at the end of the magazine. So that's why I choose the Sokomem 1A for this one. For the sidearm, doesn't matter. I choose this one because it has pistol damage, damage to target out of cover, and close and personal. So you can use what sidearm do you want over here. For the mask, I'm using the Providence that has 50% headshot damage with weapon damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage plus 10% headshot damage. The chest piece, it's actually Irlandi. As you can see here, I have 3 pieces of Irlandi. So the marksman rifle damage, 1 piece, 50% headshot damage for the second piece, and 5% damage to armor. I wrote here headshot damage instead of critical hit damage. I have here the critical hit chance and another 10% critical hit and another 10% headshot damage. For the holster, I'm using, this is the second part of the Irlandi, again with headshot damage, critical hit damage, and weapon damage. For the knee pads, I'm using the Fox Sprayer because one, the damage to target out of cover, which this one is multiplicative, and also that I'm using the Sokomem 1A. The gloves is the Seska to give me the 10% critical hit chance. As you can see here, this one it's fully maxed on, it's focused around critical hit chance and critical hit damage. And the last piece is actually the backpack, which is the third piece of Irlandi. With critical hit chance, headshot damage, and another 10% headshot damage on the mods with vigilance. Obviously, this is a good talent, especially if you're playing a sniper build. So let me show the stats real quick. So I have here 50% critical hit chance, 97% critical hit damage, and over 200% headshot damage. Now, if I'm swapping to the Mantis. Let's check out the Mantis builds. I have almost close to 300% headshot damage. So that's a lot of headshot damage. Once you add also, if you can hit a critical hit chance, with this 80% critical hit damage, you will do a lot of damage. So this one tested both on, not both, I tested on legendary missions, heroic missions overly. So basically, if you're doing a lot of damage in legendary missions, you're going to do a lot of damage in heroic or below missions. Also went with this one on the raids, and I actually tried to test this on the dark zone as well, and it's actually quite good. Especially for the players that like to use skill builds, hybrid builds, you can one shot with this build. Not necessarily saying that this one is good for PvP, but if you want to do some PvP with it, you have to be really sneaky with it, because your life, as you can see, the armor is 726k, so you'll be melted quite fast. Again, not suggesting to use this one in PvP, go it for PvE, but it's a very good weapon. In my opinion, on the raids, the last boss and the third boss of Operation Dark Hours is not really going to do too much for you, because of this build being around headshot damage, and the last two bosses don't have any headshots. So what you can do, you can use this one for the two bosses. So basically the first encounter, not the first boss, the first encounter and the second encounter of Operation Dark Hours, and all of the encounters in Operation Iron Horse. So probably say like this is more reliable on Operation Iron Horse than compared to the Dark Hours. But for the other PvE content, this is a good way how you can set up a Mantis build. Very easy, and it's quite efficient in my opinion, because especially with the Socom M1A, you can rely on it. I made this build around the secondary weapon. I didn't try to focus more on the Mantis. I was trying to focus around the secondary, and I tried to choose different types of weapon that included assault rifles, LMGs, SMGs, and in my opinion, rifles are probably the best how you can go with this one, because you're using the Fox Prayer. Fox Prayer also it's a one of the best in slots that you can use for the knee pads, and that's why I choose the Socom M1A. So this is a very reliable build weapon. Again, I like it. There are multiple ways how you can do it for the Mantis, but this is a straightforward. So especially for the players that just joined the Division 2 and don't know how to make a Mantis build, this is basically how you're going to make it easier for you. So you have to invest more in headshot damage and try to add to swap between critical hit chance and the critical hit damage on the secondary attribute. As you can see here, I have critical hit chance and critical hit damage. But if I'm going to another chest piece, like another piece like the chest, as you can see right here, I have headshot damage and critical hit chance. So you don't have to you don't invest necessarily too much on the headshot. You invest somehow to reach that 280 probably say headshot damage, and afterwards you can go and invest in critical hit chance and critical hit damage in order for you to get the secondary weapon, whatever you're going to use here. You can use, like I said, the classic M1A or other rifles as you wish, but try to get the secondary weapon reliable, because you're not going to do so much damage with or you're not going to use the Mantis when the enemies get close to you. So you need that secondary weapon to be reliable. So that's why I choose the Socom M1A for this one. But yeah, this is the build. Skills, as you can see here, based on this build is based around PVE. So you can imagine that it's the Revive Hive, and I use the Fixer Drone again, because it's in my opinion, this is basically the best combo if you don't have any skills. As you can see here, I have 0 utility, so Revive, the Fixer Drone is probably like the best one, and also the Revive Hive, because it's worth it, and in my opinion it's still one of the best skills that you can use, especially with DPS builds, to have this one in case of you're going down. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see more the Division 2 content like this, and until next time, Have a good one.